Rain slammed against the windshield in deafening sheets, each drop illuminated by the occasional white flash of lightning. My wipers worked furiously, but the storm was relentless, blurring the road into a watery smear. The engine had been struggling 4 miles, coughing and jerking like it was gasping its last breath. When it finally gave out, the dashboard lights flickered once before dying completely, leaving me stranded in a dead hunk of metal on the shoulder of Route 87. I tried the ignition 3, maybe 4 times, each one ending in a sick, hollow click. The kind of sound that told you this was it. I sat there for a minute, watching my own breath fog the glass, listening to the wind howl across the empty highway. My phone had no signal, not even a single flicker of a bar. The darkness beyond the beams of my headlights was heavy, suffocating, stretching for miles in both directions with nothing but wet asphalt and shadow. The rain carried a faint metallic scent, mixing with the sharp temps of ozone. Somewhere out in the black, I thought I saw a mumenta, pale shape flickering between the skeletal outlines of trees far from the road. I blinked, and it was gone. My clothes were already damp from the leak in the roof, water trailing icy fingers down the back of my neck. I told myself I'd wait until the storm eased, but a knot of unease had begun twisting in my stomach, urging me to move, to find shelter. My eyes scanned the darkness again, and that's when I saw Ida's faint red glow in the distance, pulsing weakly through the curtain of rain. A sign, neon dot. The closer I got, the more the sign came into focus. Its red letters bleeding into the night, like a wound. Rest Easy Motel, it read, though the E in rest stuttered on and off in a nervous flicker, casting strange shadows on the slick pavement. The parking lot was almost empty, save for a rusted blue pickup parked beneath a broken streetlight, its windshield clouded over with condensation from the inside. I pushed open the office door, and a small brass bell above it gave a tired jingle that felt oddly muffled, like the sound was being swallowed. The air inside was thick, humid, and carried the faint odor of something metallic beneath layers of stale cigarette smoke. Behind the counter, the clerk sat motionless, his posture too straight, his face chalk white and strangely still, as if carved from wax. His eyes followed me without moving his head, the way prey watches a predator roar. Maybe the other way around. His voice, when it came, was flat and toneless. Room 6. Cash only. His hand slid forward to take my bills, and that's when I saw the nails dark, cracked, with the skin around them raw and peeling. The hallway beyond the office was long and narrow, lined with peeling wallpaper that curled in the corners like old scabs. The floor creaked under my steps, and the light bulbs overhead buzzed faintly, giving off a yellow glow that barely held back the shadows. Halfway down, my shoes stuck slightly to the carpet, and when I looked down, I saw dark stains spread in irregular shapes. They were damp. The smell was stronger here, coppery and sweet, clinging to the back of my throat. I tried not to look, but my eyes caught on the door numbers until they found it. 6, the brass numerals tarnished and scratched. The door to room 6 opened with a reluctant groan, the hinges stiff as though they hadn't been moved in years. A wave of stale, damp air hit me immediately, carrying with it an undercurrent of rot-like meat left too long in the sun. The carpet inside was threadbare, matted down in uneven patches, and bore the faint outlines of stains that time had failed to erase. The lamp on the nightstand flickered in and out, its weak light struggling to chase away the shadows gathering in the corners. I noticed the bed for Stit's spread was stiff in certain spots, the fabric brittle beneath the fingertips, as if something had once soaked into it and dried, leaving the fibers hardened. The walls were no better. One section near the door had deep grooves carved into it, jagged lines that didn't look random. They were desperate, clawing scratches, layered over each other as if made by someone who'd been trying to get out. I placed my bag on the chair and the television snapped to life with a crackle, startling me. Static hissed for a heartbeat before a black and white image emerged. It took me a moment to realize what I was seeing: a woman tied to the bed in this very room, her mouth stretched open in a soundless scream. The grainy footage wavered, then sharpened, revealing a man's shadow moving over her. His hands clutched something long and sharp, and when it came down, the screen bloomed black with thick, glistening liquid. My skin crawled. I reached for the remote, pressing the power button, but the picture didn't vanish. The woman was gone now, Dot in her place. The feed showed the room exactly as it was in that moment. The same bed, the same flickering lamp, except there was someone else in it. A tall figure stood in the far corner, unmoving, his shape half lost in shadow. My breath caught, my eyes locked on the screen. Slowly, the figure stepped closer, and with each movement, the image distorted, the static crackling louder. My heart hammered, my gaze darted from the television to the actual corner of the room, but it was empty. When I turned back to the TV, the figure was nearer still, and something shifted beneath the bedspread, a slow, crawling bulge that moved with deliberate intent. The lamp sputtered once, then went out completely, leaving the room swallowed in a darkness so thick it felt solid. My pulse thundered in my ears, and the only sound beyond it was the faint creak of the mattress. I wasn't on it. The crawling bulge beneath the bedspread shifted again, and then something icy closed around my ankle. My scream ripped through the silence as I kicked hard, but the grip tightened, yanking me down so fast my knees slammed the carpet. The burn of fabric on my skin mixed with the sting of nails digging into flesh as I was dragged toward the bed. My hands clawed at the floor, nails splitting, blood slicking the fibers. But the pull was relentless. I slid under the bed into an impossible blackness that seemed to stretch far beyond the room's dimensions. The air was wet and heavy, reeking of copper and decay. Shapes began to emerge in the gloom bodies. Dozens of them, tangled together like discarded dolls. Some were fresh enough to still have their eyes, staring wide and glassy. Others were little more than bone, their sockets empty, but somehow still aware. One head jerked toward me, its mouth hanging open, and a rasping voice whispered my name, the sound scraping my nerves raw. Panic exploded through me, and I thrashed violently, connecting with something soft that gave way under my heel. The grip on my ankle loosened, and I scrambled backward until I hit the wall hard enough to knock the breath out of me. Pain radiated from my shoulder, but I didn't stop. I staggered upright, my legs shaking, blood warm against my skin where the fingers had dug in. The door was just steps away, its brass knob gleaming faintly in the dark. I lunged for it, my palm closing around the metal only to feel searing heat bite into my flesh, the smell of burning skin rising instantly. Behind me, the television roared to life again, the static louder now, almost screaming. I forced myself to look, and there I was on the screen, clutching the door, eyes wide with terror. In the frame behind me stood the man in the soaked trench coat, his face still hidden, his shadow stretching unnaturally toward me. The first strike was sudden, the blade tearing into my side with a force that stole my breath and left a deep, burning ache spreading through my ribs. Warmth gushed down my leg, thick and sticky, mixing with the rainwater still dripping from my hair and clothes. I collapsed to the floor, and he was on me instantly, his soaked trench coat brushing against my face as the smell of damp fabric and something rotten filled my nose. His face tilted into the light for the first time, skin pale and gray, lips torn away to reveal a permanent wet grin that exposed far too many teeth, each one filed 2 sharp points. He leaned in, close, whispering in a guttural language that twisted my stomach, and the room bled red. The walls pulsed as if alive, dark streaks oozing down their surface in slow, heavy trails. From the corners of the room, shadows thickened and took form figures, emerging one by one. They surrounded me, their faces mangled beyond recognition, eyes hollow or missing entirely, bodies torn open to reveal glistening organs still shifting faintly inside. Cold hands gripped my wrists and ankles, pinning me down as the trenchcoat man lowered the knife, its edge catching the red light. The blade didn't plunge, it slid slowly across my chest, parting flesh with a wet, sucking sound. My scream tore through my throat, my voice raw and shaking as blood pooled warm beneath me. From above, droplets began to fall, thick and warm, hitting my face and lips. I looked up to see the ceiling covered with bodies nailed in place. There, torsos split open, insides swaying gently. Blood dripped from their fingers in a steady rhythm, each drop exploding against my skin.
Please like and subscribe channel Fear Frequency for more horror stories. Thank you.